What really happened here? Why did Trump agree to 18%?
Well, what really happened is that his ambassador, Gore, had been here for a while, and he made it clear it is either my way or highway. No, Trump hasn't changed much. It is we who have changed. Now, unfortunately, classical diplomacy has been replaced by a toxic form of public diplomacy. And nobody is practicing classical diplomacy. For the time being, Trump has won this round. But let us see.
But are you therefore saying that there will be absolutely no problem between India and Russia even after we stop buying oil from Russia or even reduce buying oil from Russia drastically?
No, we will have to stop because that is what Trump has demanded and that is what we have agreed.
Sir, why should the world believe us, sir? Because now, somewhere down the line, we had also promised Russia that we'll buy oil from them. In fact, our external affairs minister, with all that sparking eyes and all that, had gone all over the media, all over the world, and kind of made statements saying that why can't we buy, why we will do what is best for us and all that. And today, on February 2026, here we are, back to what America told us.
I don't think we had much of a choice, unfortunately.
Sorry.
I want to know whether India will join the Board of Peace. My own advice is India should not join. But that doesn't mean I'm saying that India will not join. But my own advice is India should not join.
Namaskar. So a lot of talk about United States reducing their tariff from 25% to 18%. And, there's a lot of UN cry. Mr. Narendra Modi, our good Prime Minister, has been talking about how we have come together and how the relationship has worked and how two democracies are coming together and all that. Trump, on the other hand, was very clear in his message, where he said, Baba, listen, you know what? I told I want India to stop purchasing oil from Russia. They stopped. I told that India should do more trade with America. They will. I told that they should also now deal with Venezuela. They will. So all of that, Trump is very clear that this has been a trade deal. It's a pure trade deal. It is purely, they agreed to what I said, and therefore I am giving them that reduction from 25% to 18%. Now, for a lot of my viewers, let me get something very clear. You see, till 2023, the average tariff that America would charge our goods in US was around 4 to 5%. That was the average tariff. This entire 25% and then 50% all happened now. So when you say that you bought it down to 18%, you need to understand they've actually bought it up from 4% to 25% and then bought it down to 18%. This is how we should look at it, and not that it has been bought down to 18%, number one. Number two is this 50% tariff that one was talking about. See, 50% tariff was put, but then it was actually not implemented per se. So that 50% doesn't kind of exist at the moment, and the 25% that we are talking about, like I told you, it is from 4% that it became 25%, and then now from 25% it has become 18%. That's the way one should view. The point that I wanted to make is, if we were to succumb to everything what America said, we were to say that we will not buy oil from Russia, we were to say that we will buy agricultural products from you, we were to say that we will buy more products from you. If all that is what we had to say, if we wanted to say, then why wait all this while and waste everybody's time? One would have might as well agreed then, and a lot of exporters and all would have done their deals and would have made money. Why did we wait? Why did we insist on self-pride and self-esteem and all that? Why did we do all that? We could have accepted it. So that's the first question I couldn't get answers to. Was it just because we were trying our luck, or was it, as always, we failed in preempting what is going to happen? Our strategies were all haywire? Is that the case? Now, the Ministry of External Affairs and other ministries are saying that, listen, we have not agreed to anything that America has said, agriculture and all, we have not agreed to. But let us wait and watch. Because most of the things that the gentleman Trump says there seems to be happening. So let us wait and watch what is the results. Are we going to stop Russian oil? Are we going to allow American agricultural imports? And then we'll take the call. That's the status. Now, like I said, I am kind of mixing my editorial with a conversation, with a in conversation, and that is something that I had with Ambassador KP Fabian. I spoke to him about all the questions that I just raised. I spoke to him, and he had some fabulous answers. So let's listen into that, and then you take a call. You decide what is right and what is wrong. Sir, thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming in. And today, sir, is a very interesting day. So we are finally now, I think, patched up with Trump. Trump has agreed to 25% to 18%, which is seen as a great victory. But sir, to my best of my understanding, till 2023, our tariff was around 4%, isn't it, sir? And which has been, which was taken up to 25%. Now it's brought down to 18%. We used to do this in our marketing. Sir, my point is, what really happened here? Why did Trump agree to 18%?
No, very sort of technically, it was brought down from 50% to 18%. It was 25, then additional 25 was imposed on us because we were buying oil from Russia.
Correct. But sir, that 25% which was additional, that was not executed, sir. Was that actually implemented?
It was implemented.
Okay.
That additional 25% was not exactly executed. With Trump, everything is vague, very vague.
Correct.
But the point is, in real trade, even if it is not enforced, as an exporter or as an importer, I'll have to worry about it because it can come into effect when my cargo is on the Atlantic.
So what really happened, sir? That's what I was also wondering, because that 25% was not really executed. This other 25% was executed. So that is why I said from 25 to 18. But all the same, sir, what really happened? Why did Trump change?
No, Trump hasn't changed much. It is we who have changed.
So what really happened?
Well, what really happened is that his ambassador, Gore, had been here for a while. And he made it clear, it is either my way or highway. And we have correctly chosen for the time being, to agree. Because you see, when you look at it geopolitically, if relations of a country A with the United States are not in good shape, when A negotiates with B, C, D, E, F, meaning other countries, A finds itself in a weak position. The world is not unipolar, but nevertheless, United States is the most powerful under the moon. And therefore, if a country's relations with the United States are bad, that makes its position as a negotiator with other countries weaker. So I think it was necessary for us to agree to and settle this. And don't forget, rupee was going down and down. And some of our experts have been saying that, it's good that rupee is going down. Well, they were playing courtier because it was going down.
My submission is, I understand that having relation with any country is important, especially United States. I understand that United States is particularly very important for us as far as trade is concerned. And I also understand that the United States is a huge bargaining point, because if we go without the United States, possibly the world will look at us as somebody who is desperate. I understand that, sir. But, sir, also another factor that is merging up. And that emerging fact is that Russia and China were kind of backing us to the hilt in whatever way they could in the last couple of months, especially last 1 year, if I can take that liberty. Now, the point is, what happens to that particular relationship? Because they were kind of backing us to the hilt, and we are now going back to the United States. What happens to those relationships?
Let us look at the big picture. And to do that, we have to go back in time. When on the 2nd of April, the year of the Lord 2025, President Trump announced his intention to impose tariffs on the rest of the world. Ideally, the best thing that could have happened was for the rest of the world, meaning EU, Canada, Mexico, Japan, India, Russia, China, to have entered into secret, discreet diplomatic talks, and then once they have agreed to announce a united front against America, saying that, okay, if you are going to impose X% of tariffs on us, we are going to impose on you 2X%. You know what the Europeans did? They almost used the bazooka or threatened to use the bazooka. That is when Trump succumbed in the case of Greenland, and also uh, tariffs against the 8 European countries. So if we had done that, now the question is, to do that, somebody has to take the initiative. And in my view, India could have taken the initiative. Only thing is that it has to be done very discreetly. This is what I call classical diplomacy. Now, unfortunately, classical diplomacy has been replaced by a toxic form of public diplomacy. And nobody is practicing classical diplomacy. You know, they're always talking to the media. And through the media, they are talking to each other. This is not good. So anyway, what is done. For the time being, Trump has won this round. But let us see.
What happens to the Russia India China relationship then?
No, India's relationship with Russia will continue. Only thing is that if we stop importing oil from them, two things. One is that Russia will be a little unhappy, but you know, Putin is a very smart diplomatic player. He will not show it. You know what I mean? He has an ability to hide his disappointment. And in other matters, our relations with Russia will continue. Now the question is whether our not buying oil from Russia will hurt Russian economy to such an extent that Putin will be compelled to make concessions to Ukraine. Now, I do not think so. Even if India stops buying, Russia can sell it elsewhere. And even if Russia cannot sell it elsewhere, for a while, Russia has the wherewithal to go on, sending drones, missiles, and bombs to Ukraine, so that Ukrainians' power infrastructure, energy infrastructure, will be completely, damaged, and Ukraine has no option but to sign on the dotted line.
Sorry, I'm repeating this question, but are you therefore saying that there will be absolutely no problem between India and Russia even after we stop buying oil from Russia, or even reduce buying oil from Russia drastically, which I don't think Trump will agree. So stop buying from stop buying oil from Russia?
No, we will have to stop, because that is what Trump has demanded and that is what we have agreed. So we'll have to stop. Now the question is this: once the Ukraine war is over, you know what I mean? And it is possible that it might be over within weeks, because talks are again going to take place in Abu Dhabi on the 6th. Today is the 3rd, and once it is over, then this ban on buying Russian oil will stop. Only thing is that Trump being Trump, he would still insist, that, okay, now you got oil from Venezuela, you can buy it from me, that sort of thing. But that ban will stop. It is also possible that Trump will have an understanding with Russia so that any ban on Russian oil sales will also stop.
I mean, isn't it this absolutely strange, sir? Trump, a country like United States, just goes to Venezuela, picks up the president, kidnaps his wife, gets them to United States, and then says, "Now I am going to administer Venezuela." I mean, are we living in some weird world? Things have absolutely changed. The worldview, in fact, has changed. How do you react to that, sir?
Well, we are living in a Trumpian world, and the world which we knew, where diplomatic norms and rules held, that world is no more. But it is my view that it is possible for the rest of the international community to make Trump behave. provided the community acts in a smart way. But so far, I'm not seeing much sign thereof, except, as I said, when the European Union threatened Trump with the bazooka.
So far, you are not seeing any smartness coming from any side, is what you're saying. Sir, I want to draw your attention to China. Now, what's going to happen to the China part of our relationship, the Indo-China relationship? How is that going to go?
Our relations with China will improve. In fact, our Economic Affairs Secretary said yesterday, I believe, that we are revising the rules relating to foreign investment so that it will be easier for China to invest in India. See, we cannot afford to have a hostile relationship with China just because they are sitting on our territory at the border. Because if we cannot militarily make them go away, well, then we have to sort of live with it for a while. And you know what happened at the parliament when Rahul Gandhi read out excerpts from General Narwane's book? You see, you followed that, no?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
What happened was that when Chinese tanks were advancing, and the northern commander asked the general Narwane, what shall we do? And he talked to NSA, foreign minister, defense minister, and others. He got no response. Then again, the northern commander said, they are after 1 hour, they are advancing closer. And again, the chief spoke. And finally, after some delay, he got a reply, Jo uchit hai, aap kar dijiye. Now, that is not a clear reply. We should have told him. There should have been a proper discussion. General, okay, if I give you the green signal, can you handle them? Can you stop them from coming? Can you make them withdraw? Well, if you can, act. No, don't say just do what is uchit. That is a convoluted reply which doesn't give a clear direction.
We talk about China's relationship will increase because our ministry has said that we are going to do more trade and all that. Sir, why should the world believe us, sir? Because now, somewhere down the line, we had also promised Russia that we'll buy oil from them. In fact, our external affairs minister, with all that sparking eyes and all that, had gone all over the media, all over the world, and kind of made statements saying that why can't we buy, why we will do what is best for us and all that. And today, on February 2026, here we are, back to what America told us. This is exactly what happened with our purchase of oil with Iran also. We were purchasing oil from Iran, and then America told us not to buy, and then we said, okay, we will not buy. So why should the world now believe us, sir? What individual choice do we have? Our choices are primarily what America tells us to do, isn't it? In a way.
Well, to an extent. In fact, we haven't bought oil from Iran for the last 7 years. And as you know, in the current budget, there is no allocation for Chabahar. My view is that it would have been smarter for us to have given an allocation to Chabahar and sort of rather than give the impression to Iran, oh, it's all over now. You know what I mean? Give an allocation and then watch the geopolitical situation and then, act on it. I'm not saying that, we should jump into it and act on it. Then Trump can be, can hit us harder. But this not showing any allocation in the budget, I don't think it was the smartest move that we could have done.
Let me conclude this section with you with a summary of whatever we discussed. We are saying that we have agreed to whatever America demanded from us. So with all the talks that we stood our ground, we are not going to change. A lot of media personalities and said that we are not going to change. We stood our grounds. All that is over. Now we are all ground and all are changed. We are doing what America tells us to do. Point one. Point two, you are saying, sir, Russia, though all this happened, Russia is still going to remain friends with us and still going to help us and still going to be coordinating with us, is what you're saying. Third is, you're saying that the relationship of Indo-China relationship, that is, the Indo-China relationship is going to improve over the years. Is that what we're concluding, sir?
Exactly. I mean, just if I may repeat, we are practically signed on the dotted line with America.
Correct.
I don't think we had much of a choice, unfortunately. To know whether India will join the Board of Peace.
happened, sir,
My own
since you...
advice is India should not join. But that doesn't mean I'm saying that India will not join. But my own
Correct.
advice, India should not join. But that doesn't mean India will not join.
May I ask you a political question? Sir, all this 56 inches and, our national security and, our India first pride and, jingoism, ghar pe ghus ke marenge and all that. Sir, have we ever crumpled like this, like we are currently doing under foreign pressure, ever in the history
Well,
of India?
well, we have to understand that there never has been an American president like Trump.
There has been never an Indian prime minister like Modi either. So,
Well, you can say that, but let me focus on America. Okay?
yes, sir. Yes,
And
sir.
with Trump, it is very difficult to deal with him. And as we had said in an earlier conversation, India or even the rest of the world has not taken enough trouble to invest in trumpology, understanding Trump, the mindset of the man. You know what I mean? We have not done that. And perhaps the only political leader I can think of who understands Trump is Putin. Yeah, he understands Trump's personality, his mindset, and he can predict how Trump will behave. But for the rest of the world, we are all at a loss.
But sir, Mr.
And
Jaishankar was an American
we are at the
specialist.
receiving end.
But Mr. Jaishankar was supposed to be an American diplomacy expert, na sir? So what happened to that?
He is certainly a great expert because he was also our ambassador there and he was earlier foreign secretary. But I do not know whether decisions are taken always based on the recommendations of the MEA. I think there are other, sort of persons who have an important role in decision making.
So it is Modi who has got important roles in decision making, and possibly Mr. Jaishankar has no role, is what kind of. But sir, again, end of the day, Indo-American relationship has been the biggest letdown as far as Indian external affairs is concerned. It has been biggest letdown is because we were looking at East and things were happening in West. So we couldn't gauge it, we couldn't predict it, we couldn't preempt it, we couldn't handle it very clearly. So aren't we accountable? Isn't the MEA accountable to the country?
No, I wouldn't agree with you that Dr. Jaishankar has no role to play. No, that may not be a correct statement. But, remember, I don't know whether we have discussed it, but I had written some time back. It is high time that MEA appointed a commission without telling the media to take a hard look at India's foreign policy for the last so many years and to propose course correction as needed. And again, I repeat, this should not be done publicly. The recommendations of that commission should not be publicized. You know what I mean? So what is required is introspection, but calm introspection done discreetly.
Correct.
Without blaming anyone. Because, you can blame anyone, but that doesn't help. India is India. We are all Indians. So we all have a stake in it. So the opposition is certainly taking some political mileage out of it. That again happens in a democracy. But basically, as far as foreign policy is concerned, we all should be united in pursuing India's national interest.
No, sir. This concept of national interest, I completely agree to you. But in this garb of national interest, what has happened is we are kind of brushing our faults under the carpet. Because end of the day, I want to reiterate the fact that I think our relationship with America, the way it has been mismanaged.
Yeah, that is correct. It is true that our relationship with America has been mismanaged. But let's also recognize that it is extremely difficult to have normal relations with President Trump, because he's a real estate tycoon who has got an absolutely transactional approach to diplomacy. So I'm not saying that, it has been mismanaged, but I think we should also recognize that it's extremely difficult to deal with it.
Sir, the reason I don't want to recognize that is because, sir, in corporate, we always believe that, listen, it is the job of a office bearer, a person who is sitting in the office, to handle the situation. You see, I can't tell my head of sales that, okay, the market is very bad, so it's okay, you don't sell, I understand. Or I can't tell my, you see, that's not right, sir, because when we voted for Acherin, we voted for somebody who said that I'm Vishwaguru and all that was happening. My issue again, sir, is not because of this. Same Trump was our best friend in 2016. The same Trump, we used to hold hands and walk around like in the garden. This used to happen.
Let me put it this way: such diplomatic exercises have to be taken with a pinch of salt. Let me tell you, I mean, if you don't mind, before the First World War started, the German emperor and the Russian Tsar, they were sort of cousins. You know what I mean? And they wrote each other letters saying that, with my most affectionate regards and all that. But they had already asked their troops to move. You know what I mean? But in the letters, they said, your most affectionate brother and all that. So diplomatic gestures have to be taken with a pinch of salt.
All that is fine, sir. My thing is, we voted for a government. That government is supposed to handle a situation, and the situation is not being handled. That is the way I will see it. And sir, and the government is responsible either to tell us that we messed up, we couldn't handle it, we failed, we are not, we couldn't deliver, or well, I mean, they have to get somebody who can deliver. This is what I would, to my mind, purely from a corporate perspective, this is what I will see it, sir. Sir, let's go to my next section, which is also quite important. Sir, I want to ask you a very philosophical and very historic question. Sir, this US has been constantly threatening Iran, and literally bullying them. Okay, now, somewhere down the line, not one Islamic country has come to the aid of Iran. Not one Islamic country. In fact, chances are Islamic Pakistan would be actually supporting US to bomb Iran. It's possible. I'm not saying it is happening. It's possible. Question, sir. The question is there, in real world, is there anything called as the Islamic Association, Islamic Brotherhood countries and all that, Islamic nations? Does such thing exist? Does religion exist in geopolitics? Question. That's my question. Does religion actually exist in geopolitics?
Okay. Now, you said that no Islamic country has come to support Iran. Well, your statement is correct, but not entirely correct. You know that the Qatari Prime Minister come Foreign Minister was in Tehran the other day. Mm-hmm. You know that Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and Oman have told America that attacking Iran will complicate matters and it will lead to a regional conflagration, and America should not do that. So you cannot say that these countries have not supported Iran. Only thing is that,
may I interrupt?
Yes,
sorry to interrupt. Sir, my thing is, even India has said that we should handle it peacefully. That every country has said that we should handle it peacefully. France has said that they should handle everything peacefully. I mean, I am saying all that is all sound bites.
Okay. Now, let me add.
Sorry.
The UAE has told America publicly that its soil and airspace cannot be used for attacking Iran. And that seems to have been a similar message, though less clear, seems to have been given by Saudi Arabia and Qatar. Because they are all scared that if Iran retaliates, then they will be hit. And there is no shield, which can save them from Iranian missiles. You see, that is why they are in a perilous position, and that is why they are telling Trump that it will be wrong. It will have unintended consequences if you attack Iran. And for UAE to have stated that publicly, that is something very important. We have to take note of that.
I talk to you purely as a layman, sir. For me, I thought standing by is saying that, listen, I will stand with you if there is a war. Here, everybody says don't use you war and all, theek hai, but don't use my house to create a mess because I don't want to get into this mess. I see it that way. That is not what you call as an, to my mind, of course, sir, as a Islamic brotherhood or Islamic nation and all that. I don't see that as happening. And same is the case. So, my point again, sir, is what I was trying to raise is I don't think geopolitics has anything to do with religion. I don't think any time religious kind of, the fact that they are from the same religion and the same religious practice and all have brought countries together or put them apart. I don't think that has ever happened in this world. That is the point I was trying to kind of learn from you.
Yeah, you have a point in the sense that suppose it was not the United States which was threatening Iran. Well, if some other country were threatening Iran, then we can easily imagine the OIC, Organization of Islamic Conference, holding a session.
Correct.
And coming out with a declaration. Because it is Trump, let me put it this way, he has successfully intimidated the rest of the world.
My last section in my discussion, Epstein file happened. And look at where one finds Trump and look at where the way things are as far as Trump is concerned. Sir, and now the thing is, the way he is handling the world, the way he is dictating terms, the way the peace board, the way it happened, board of peace, I'm sorry, that it happened, and the way he asked for $1 billion to get into the club. Otherwise, you are a secondary member. I mean, look at the way he's redefining the world. Now, this is serious. A lot of us are not taking him seriously, but the fact remains that look at the way he's redefining the world. It's actually a completely reverse of everything that humanity and the world stood for till now. He's reversing the whole process, sir. Are we noticing this? Is the world noticing it? Is it a discussion in forums like yours, sir, where you all discuss senior level geopolitics?
Well, I agree with you that Trump is, what shall I say? Trump is damaging and almost destroying the international system. But my view is that he may have to stop doing that. Let us see what happens during the midterms in November. Look at the way he has treated Mississippi.
Yes.
American citizens are getting killed. By whom? By ICE.
Correct.
Immigration and Customs Agency.
Yes.
And, so and also Trump, said that that guy was wrong to have been carrying a firearm. But under American law, Second Amendment, you can carry a firearm to anywhere. I mean, you're using it or not is a different matter. But the guy had every right to carry it. So, Trump also is sort of his MAGA coalition might slowly start unraveling, But I hope, I expect, I pray that in November midterms, Trump gets, proper bashing. He meets with his Waterloo.
Sir, what exactly is the Trump-Modi relationship now? Are they friends again? Or is Trump trying to get Modi to his fold? Or is Modi trying to be in Trump's fold? Sir, what exactly is happening?
Something? Lord, I think, was it Lord Palmerston said, England has no permanent friends or enemies. England has only permanent interests. So I do not think, the so-called personal chemistry between Trump and Modi, howdy Modi, way back, when Trump was in his first term. I do not take these things seriously because everyone is trying to take care of his personal interests. Only thing is that in the Trumpian world, Trump is able to, as I said earlier, intimidate those who are dealing with him and get away with blue murder.
You see, for Mr. Modi, Trump has always been a good political card. Till such time that he was showing off his relationship with Trump, he could claim that he is a Vishwa Guru, he could claim that he stopped wars, and he could claim all of that. That could happen. You see, a lot of what Trump's whatever power, what he was and what he is as the president of America, a lot of it Modi had beautifully translated to himself, like stop the war in Ukraine and all of that. That kind of Papa ne war rukwa kind of stuff. The point that I'm trying to make is, so for Modi, it's a huge political gain, and what I understand as covering politics, that politics and elections and popularity is one of the biggest things for Mr. Modi and BJP. So how much of that is affecting our geopolitics, sir? Our relationship with US per se.
Okay, first point I want to make is that Trump might succeed in putting an end to the Ukraine war. Now, having said that, as regards the reaction in India to what has been agreed to between Prime Minister Modi and President Trump during their conversation, well, we have to wait and see, because I can well imagine that a section of the public will be upset with what they are reading. Section might think that India has surrendered to the United States. But I give you a different point of view, that India did not have much of a choice. But that reading may not be accepted by many. In which case, even among the BJP, RSS and all that, there will be a, moment of reckoning. Okay, let's figure out where we are and how did we come here and what can we do now.
Well, I don't know about BJP, but yeah, maybe RSS may have a moment of reckoning, but BJP, I don't think there is any of that scope. Sir, my last question, sir, will there be a regime change in Iran?
No, I don't know. I don't want to predict, but most unlikely, because it is my view that Trump will not resort to military action against Iran, because if he does that, even the Iranians who are protesting against the Ayatollah will be united against Trump. And as I said earlier, Iran is in a position to retaliate in a manner which will make things very difficult for Trump, So I don't expect him to start military action. So most probably there will be talks, soon between Iran and America. And now if you notice, Trump says that we'll make sure that Iran will not make a bomb. Well, Iran never wanted to make a bomb or never started making a bomb. And under that JCPOA, the nuclear deal which Obama got done, since IAEA, International Atomic Energy Agency, had full access to Iran's nuclear activities, it follows that Iran was not going to make a bomb. That is the only way you can make sure Iran doesn't make a bomb, not by repeatedly, periodically bombing it. You know what I mean? That doesn't make any sense. In fact, if you start doing that, Iran might change its mind and start making a bomb. You follow? So let us see whether Trump will show some, say, awareness of the limitations of what he can do. And also don't forget, he's doing all this partly to sort of support his good friend Netanyahu. Because Netanyahu is in trouble, corruption charges, and polls show that his party is not going to come back with the necessary majority and all that, his party and its allies. In which case, he wants to postpone everything, and having a big war with Iran is the best way to postpone everything.
Sir, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your for all the explanations that you gave us. And like always, enlightening to talk.
Always a pleasure talking to you, and through you to hundreds of thousands of the listeners.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Namaskar.